Hi, I'm Reverend Paula Skiles with Unity Church of San Marcos. We welcome you to the service this morning, and we begin with a meditation with David Rosenblatt offering us an opportunity to experience this beautiful wonder of a quiet time and reflection on God. I invite you to close your eyes if it feels comfortable. And let yourself feel the sense of quietness settle into your bones. And breathing in, we let it settle even further, deep into our spirit. And we allow ourselves in this moment to simply reflect. There is an inner light within our being. And we allow ourselves also to breathe in a sense of love and peace, as much as we can hold in this moment, for it is all around us, in us, through us, as us, an unconditional love, a mighty force within our world and the universe. And we move effortlessly to that quiet place of mind, setting aside doubts and concerns. We can always take them up later. This is God's time. This is the time in which we truly, wholeheartedly embrace that which is Spirit. That sense of love and joy, wonder and beauty, power and grace, strength and wisdom, understanding all things that we live, breathe, and know in life. To one degree or another, we hold them each, and we live them each. And that spirit of the mighty presence of God lives us in that moment. And we are one. Perhaps we are not the same as God, but we can be one with that very energy of life and wisdom and truth. We can align our being, our thoughts, our hopes, our dreams. We can and shall be given a way the right and perfect way in each moment to create a greater good in our world, to reflect the Spirit of God out for all people, all beings, all creation. We are grateful to be able to stand with that presence of Spirit. awake, aware, enlivened, and in all things healing. Always healing, bringing ourselves to that optimal place of being. Being beings of joy, fulfilled and purposeful. And knowing that that light that we are is the light of God. And so we are blessed. Blessed to remember in this moment, in the silence of our being, and so we do come forward from this time of quiet and reflection. And David Rosenblatt shares with us from his gift and blessings of music.
When I heard, Paula, what your message was today about surrender, I thought I'd hit the archives. This is an old song by Sarah McLachlan, which I haven't played in years.
What's the title? Title.
It's called Surrender. Doesn't mean much, doesn't mean anything at all. The life I've left behind me was a cold room. I crossed the last line from where I can't return, where every step I took in faith betrayed and led me from my home. Sweet surrender's all that I have to give. You take me in, no questions asked. Strip away the ugliness that surrounded me. I'm amongst angels as I let go. I only hope that I won't disappoint, and I'm praying so deeply. Sweet surrender's all that I have to give. Sweet surrender's all that I have to give. And I don't understand by the touch of the hand, I would be the one to fall. I let go of the little things, and I let go of everything. It doesn't mean much, it doesn't mean anything at all, or everything. The life I've left behind me is a cold room. Surrender is all that I have to give.
Thank you, David. What a blessing. We are so blessed this morning to have. What a beautiful piece. So, as you and I begin this beautiful day, I know we've been up probably several hours, but as we begin, I want to share a story with you. It's about two childhood friends who hadn't been keeping in touch for several years, but one of them had gone to college, wasn't very prosperous. The other had not attended college, but had become very rich. And so the educated one said to his friend, he said, "Life seems to be treating you well. How did you do it?" And his prosperous friend responded, "Well, one day I opened the Bible at random and dropped my finger on the word, and it was oil. So I invested in oil, and boy, did those oil wells gush. Then another day, I dropped my finger on another word, and it was gold. And so I invested in gold, and those mines really produced. Now, I'm rich." So the educated friend was so impressed, he rushed to his hotel, grabbed the Bible out of the night side of the table and flipped it open, and he dropped his finger on a page. He opened his eyes, and his finger rested on the words, chapter 11.
Oh, yeah.
Bankruptcy. That is awesome.
You know, I think all of us face times in which we really need to have some kind of inspiration, right? Some kind of pick-me-up or a lightness to our being, right? A good laugh, a hug, a sympathetic look, or perhaps a passionate talk, a walk in the woods, or maybe a card from someone, or a phone call, expected or unexpected. And perhaps just the right article or something of those natures. These are just to name a few. I mean, obviously each of us are not going to be, who are reaching for destination inspiration, is not inspired by the same thing. Now, the title of my message is Destination Inspiration. And it's about surrender to God and what it means. The word surrender usually connotes losing or giving oneself up in a battle to a dominating force, right? But spiritual surrender has a different energy. And when surrendering to God, we're choosing to give up our lone battle and fight against all the complexities of our world, both internal and external. Of all the ideas explored by people for achieving our dreams, our hopes, our aspirations, and things like that, spiritually surrendering is the most ideal. And so surrendering is important to understand is not giving up on yourself or God. It is actually trusting our higher power, especially when we are living lives and we don't understand where we need to go, what we need to do next, or even how we got where we are, okay? And it's about becoming humble enough to admit we need help. So surrendering to God is more about aligning our vision or our dreams and our hopes with the spiritual dream of being that God has for us. God's will for us, which happens to be the highest good of all concerned. And then being willing to follow and trust Spirit's guidance in your life. Okay, so how do we surrender to God? Any thoughts? Any thoughts about how do we surrender to God? Okay, that's what I'm here for.
Letting go.
We have to be willing.
We have to be
We have to be
willing.
really looking and actually admitting that you need to look.
Yes,
I
okay.
think letting go of things sometimes is
Letting go of
important.
things.
Let go and let God, that's what I think. And
Yeah,
asking.
getting in the flow.
I have to say, okay, God, this is yours.
Take the wheel,
At this
yes.
point, yeah.
Yes, take the wheel, absolutely. So there are a couple of things to understand in order to be successful, all right? First is making this practical, not theoretical, all right? We sometimes live in our heads a lot, you know. I don't know about you. Okay, me. So while it's an entirely spiritual activity, there are actual manifest activities we need to follow in order to have this definite psychological and physiological experience, okay? So the second thing we need to do is try this process of spiritual surrender. Now, I was inspired by Gabrielle Bernstein, who is the author of The Universe Has Your Back, all right, for this message. And essentially, we start out with prayer. I know, shock, right? But really, start off strong each day. Ask for the highest good in prayer. You and I can't predict what the day will have or hold for each of us or for someone else that we love or care about. But we can start off each day with a really good perspective. And if you and I are feeling anxious or fearful when our lives aren't actually in jeopardy, it's a real good sign. We are trying to do something on our own power and not calling upon or aligning ourselves with the power of Spirit and not surrendering. So, key signal there, all right? And the key to surrendering prayer is to set aside what you think you need or somebody else needs and feels, and then ask, instead of a specific outcome, ask for the highest good of all concern. And really, honestly, honor all beings, you know, are being served through this prayer. So praying, asking for the highest good, and then when Spirit shows us what's there, you know, it's like, okay, accept it, hold it, entertain it. Don't just reject it as either impossible or whatever. So, and just in case you don't know already, Spirit is a fount of all knowledge, all right? All wisdom and all the things that we hope for in our lives, you know, understanding and the gifts or blessings that we have. And so, therefore, is open to, not even open to, is ready to support us with guidance or signs or dreams, visions, ways that we can understand what is ours to do and to be about in order to fulfill those heart desires and those dreams of ours. And so asking for the greatest good is a part of that. Highest good, prayer. So then, if you're asking for guidance, that's the second part. Asking for God's guidance and God's will is very simple, all right? God's will for you and me is for us to be fulfilled and joyful. That's it. Filled and joyful. Now that means there are a lot of things we have to do in order to experience that, though. So doing that what we love or working to achieve a dream is a part of Spirit's plan for us. The very word desire, it's Latin, comes out of the Latin meaning of the Father. So it's like this is something that comes forth from us. And a desire is something that won't leave us alone. It'll come back. We may let it go for a while, but it will come back because it's something that is for our highest good. All right? You may be surprised that Spirit has something bigger in store for you than you could possibly ever even think of yourself. So the more you ask for guidance, the more guidance you will receive. Every moment you can look around and you'll see it. I don't know about you, but I find it all the time. As a matter of fact, I was doing something other than this message, and I was working on a puzzle, a crossword puzzle, and the word that came up was sermon.
Funny.
And the next word was hand?
No, it was clear. Get back to your sermon.
That is so funny.
So anyway, and then we have to be then we have to keep an open mind when we receive these things and believe we've received them, right? Normally the greater good becomes clear and open before us, but sometimes we'll have obstacles first. Oh, no, I know you guys, everything just smooth, I know, sure. But it is a normal part of a spiritual life to have obstacles or challenges and things like that. That's how we move through and grow spiritually. And so there's nothing wrong that we're doing, it's just that's part of the process. So I ask you, this is a question. What would happen if right at this moment you chose to see obstacles as detours in the right direction? What would happen in you if you
Something new.
Something new, okay. What would happen?
Definitely
Well,
more
like your
positive.
thing here,
Uh-huh.
Lao Tzu, you put there,
Yes.
new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. So
New
we have
beginning.
a painful
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
but it may be disguised in something new.
Absolutely, okay. You were saying.
Oh, same.
Same thing, okay. So these blocks is the third process to understand in this. They can just be scenic tours in the right direction, okay? The ordeals that seem to devastate us are not a sign that we're doing something wrong. I can't tell you how often that is. It's about not making ourselves wrong or bad or not enough and those kinds of things. That's so important. Is this understanding we are where we are. We are where we are. We got there as a way of surviving through whatever experiences we've had up to that point. Mentally, emotionally, physically, all things. And so consider this, what seems to be a barrier is that scenic route for our greatest healing, making it possible to see the deeper meanings in our life and for ourselves, and having a sense of personal growth amidst all of our discomfort. And that's usually when we grow best. And that's the truth too, hard it is to understand. So we feel blocked sometimes. Anybody here feel blocked from your good? All right. Let alone a higher good, right? Okay. Consider this. One of my former teachers, Reverend Ed Rabel, who's no longer with us, but he put it this way: stay prayed up and watch. Stay prayed up and watch. And from Matthew 27, watch therefore, for ye know not on what day your Lord cometh. Have you made room? Have you made room for your highest good in your life? And when it may appear? For when it may appear, okay? We don't know. But our highest good is a part of our being. He also said, from Jesus' words, watch and pray, for ye know not on what day your Lord cometh. Your Lord is a symbol of the law of your highest good. Your indwelling Lord is the law of your highest good. It comes from God, and it is in your being, and it works for you as you serve it. Now, Reverend Ed had this wonderful insight to the metaphysics of the Bible. But Jesus is in effect saying, if you want to update his language, is stay prayed up and watch. Just be awake, be aware. Stay prayed up and watch, especially within yourself, because many times we're always watching outside of ourselves, right? We're looking for all of the goodies, right? Okay. We're looking for stuff or things to happen, a relationship, or that right and perfect job, or what. But we're looking outside, right? But Jesus, I think, was always using metaphors and parables and things, and he was saying, "Wake up." That's to my mind. And instead of watching outside of us so much, take on a little more inward watching from that perspective. Now, even the Pharisees and the teachers of the day, when they questioned Jesus and they said, who is the Lord? And Jesus said, well, what does the Bible tell you? And they said, well, we think it's David's son. And then Jesus said, no, think about it. David was saying Lord. He wouldn't say that to his own son. And so when we think about it, the Lord represented, or is a metaphor, or is a symbol for that power of great good and all that God is, okay? So if you're wondering, like me in my life many times, if I've made enough room for some new happiness. Sometimes I spend a whole lot of time thinking about old happiness or old reasons I wasn't happy, right? I don't know about you, but I fill up a lot of my mind doing those things sometimes. And I really struggle to stay right here and to get into and be on my way to desperation, on my way to destination inspiration. All right? So when life is difficult, I've learned that you and I need, and it's vital to have upliftment. And we need those inspiring moments. So the blessings that we have that are going on for us, for emotional or outwardly, the physical challenges we may have, whatever it is, it's important that we celebrate the blessings and joyfully acknowledge our accomplishments each day. Each day. Even if it's just getting out of bed and going about our business. Okay? So take a moment in each day and when you reach like maybe just a milestone, reward yourself. And it's especially important to stop and look around and notice what you've accomplished or what's happening that has fulfilled or brought to fruition something in your life. And when you complete a challenge or you've had a really good day, or even if you've had a really rough day, but you've done something that needed to be done to make it better. Create a means and a method to be able to acknowledge that accomplishment. Something of visual, something you can look at and be able to see how far you've come. And as you see those successes piling up, what that is a faith-building exercise. And we get to learn to trust Spirit more because how we can see we've already been supported. What's to say there's no reason why we won't continue to be supported and given to and lifted up when we needed it. So don't settle. Thrive. Thrive. When we have emotional or physical limitations, it's real easy to give up or to fall into what's comfortable, stop challenging ourselves, or to give up on our dreams, or simply letting go. Life is what it is, and living in a quiet desperation, as I said earlier. In doing so, we allow our grief or our setbacks or our illnesses or whatever to become a prison. All right? Push through. You'll be amazed at what it feels like to feel that vigor or that joy and just doing one day that following your dreams. And for a time each day, simply focus on what you do have. All right? Celebrate everything that's good in your life and let joy move through you. For joy is the ideal creator. When you and I open to joy, destination, inspiration is the place we get to live in. So, and this is not the last or least, but live your faith. Faith is a muscle that needs to be exercised daily. So you and I strengthen it whenever we have a constant contact with God. And so too, surrender is not meant to be a one-time decision. Our faith is strengthened when we surrender to God. From Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own insight. Now, applying that in all your ways, acknowledging Spirit and making straight your paths, right? It's a way to surrender spiritually, all right? It's about trusting God and letting God's will, yielding to it, like embracing it, letting it be part of you, and agreeing to stop fighting all alone. I mean, seriously, who wants to do that all the time? I don't. So whatever comes, you and God can overcome it. And that is a powerful truth that really goes deep whenever you hold it and own it. So how often do you think you know what's best? If only such and such would do such and such. Oh yeah, their life would be just fine, right? Or if this happened, I would be happy, right? I know I would. And, okay, all right. So we relentlessly pursue this path of our own vanity and arrogance, all right? And we do it at the expense of our connection with Spirit, and our faith suffers. So can you relate in some way?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Are you struggling to control everything and something around you in your life? Okay.
All the time.
All the time. Do you have a hard time going with the flow? Surrender is for you.
My flow.
Your flow. Surrendering is not giving up. All right? It's not. It's trusting Spirit even when we don't understand what needs to be done, or we're unsure about where we're going to go or what we have to do. Why not surrender and completely trust Spirit has your back? Okay? I know that may seem hard. Practice surrendering every day in order to know that peace of mind and heart when life is hard. And then, when it's not hard, it's so much easier to feel that joy, isn't it? You might surprise yourself and really enjoy the practice of surrendering. On your way to destination inspiration. I don't know where my mind is, but my lips. I hope you practice surrendering, that you will strengthen your relationship with Spirit. And I pray that you have the ability to let go. Let God unleash the power within yourself as you relinquish anxiety or fearfulness and the need to control so you can relax into certainty and freedom. Do your dream for the highest good. Stay prayed up and watch. God bless you, and thank you for being with us at Unity Church of San Marcos. May you be blessed.